All right, guys, welcome to our Monday sales training call every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. We get on here. We either normally have a guest speaker or we just train. Today, you got none other than myself and Mr. Gio Lopez, Mr. Baby Daddy of Twins. I am, but it's not twins though. So even though he even though he eat enough for twins. So we're gonna do today. We're gonna be talking kind of like a Q&A format. We're gonna be talking about leads. We're gonna be talking about Phonescripts. We're gonna be talking about Inhome presentation. We're gonna take about the next hour. We'll answer your questions in between. So for those of you that are on Zoom, if you have questions, which is about 15 of you guys so far, if you have questions, drop them in the chat and we'll answer them on any of the topics that we're talking about. If you have questions here, just write them down, keep them handy. And when we open up for questions, or if you have questions as we're talking, just raise your hand like we're at school and we'll call on you. So a couple things real quick before we get started. Let me just run through our top 10 issue paid agents. And this is for the first 3 weeks of August. So we just finished the month of August, just to kind of give you an idea. For those of you that are new, our fiscal month runs from Thursday to Wednesday. I've been doing this 4 years and I can't say it without having to think about it. Thursday is the first day of our week. So we're basically midweek right now. And this is actually the first week of September because our month ends the last Thursday of every month. So the month ended last week and we have the first 3 week numbers so far. These are the numbers that have been reported from the insurance carriers that they paid out to our agents for the first 3 weeks of August. So at the top of the list, we got Derek up in Chicago with $22,697. We have myself at $20,250. We got Prince, $16,358. We got Gabe, $15,558. We got Chris, Chris Marseille, $15,477. We have Mark. Mark is in Orlando. He's a realtor, brand new agent. This is his first month, $14,729. Will, $13,200. Mr. Lopez coming back from paternity leave, $12,926. Princess, $12,673. Rez up in Chicago, $11,035. Zach, $10,826. And Patricia in Atlanta, $10,408. So congratulations. I think that's probably like our top 10 producers so far. And we still have week 4 numbers, which are going to come out this Thursday, and we'll have the entire month numbers. But just congratulations to everyone. Those are just our top 10. We have the full list. Yeah, give it up. We have the full list on our Facebook page under the guide section with everybody that's issue paid business so far for the month of August, and it's always housed there on that Facebook website. So great job getting out there and serving families. And our total is 79 agents with 324,000 and some change. I don't have the exact number, but it's over 324,000. 3 weeks into the month. So that's a lot of families protected. The average policy is about $1,000. So that's 324 families that either have more coverage because they didn't have enough, or they have coverage now that they didn't have none. And that's what this is all about. And then, that represents $324,000 in commissions paid out to agents, for working and going out there and helping families. So that's pretty cool. That's impact right there. Mm-hmm. A couple quick announcements. Of course, make sure that you're on WorkSpots. There's a 35% sale right now that ends tonight, I believe. So WorkSpots, for those of you, second, 30? Okay, all right. I was adding an extra 5%. I'll take that back. So 30% sale off all internet life leads. So that's the new internet. We're going to go over leads here shortly, but new internet leads, instant internet leads, and 1 month and 3 month old internet life leads, 30% off till the end of today. WorkSpots, for those of you that don't know, is our office sharing app. And so it allows you to access any of the 150 offices that Family First Life has throughout the country. So in case you're traveling, or whether you live in Jacksonville, like my man back there, Mr. Max, or you live in Atlanta, there's an office there. And then you have this office. So if you're local here, join work spots. You can access the office. It's $99 a month, but throughout the month, you have discounts on leads, which more than saves you or makes you more than $99, because this week's discount is 30%. Last week, it was actually 50%. And so I know the lead orders I purchased last week with the discount, I saved like 300 and something dollars. So you definitely make your money multiple times over. And so join work spots. And then this past Friday, we had TNL, the next level live training call every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Corporate does a sales training call. This past Friday was a telesales launch. Over throughout the whole pandemic, Family First Life has kind of continued to be face-to-face, and we still are. But now we are empowering and encouraging agents to be able to also do, telesales via Zoom as well for those that are comfortable. Now, me personally, I would say you want to get out there initially and do it face-to-face because it helps you kind of hone your skill sets. I don't know why my Jamaican accent's trying to come out, man. Chris is like, yeah, right? Yeah, man. Let me get it out of the system. But yeah, so you get to kind of hone your craft from your in-home process, and then you take that same process and you can do that via Zoom. I know I've done some appointments via Zoom. Gio, you've done that as well. But it's always good to get out there and do it in person, live and direct. But for those of you that may not want to do that or want to incorporate Zoom in your business, there's a training, there's a PowerPoint presentation. All of that was launched last week. It's posted in the Facebook. So make sure you go back in the Facebook and you check that out. And I think it's also on the Family First Life Facebook page and YouTube channel. So all that is there. So yeah, go ahead, Desiree.
It's also posted.
I'm going to have to repeat what you say because they can't hear you. So go ahead.
Oh, okay. It's also posted in our guide section under training.
Okay. It's posted in the guide section in the Facebook page under training. Thank you, Desiree. So yeah, definitely check that out. And if, like me, right, over the last 6 months, there have been people that I've talked to hire, agents where I'm like, yeah, no, we're face-to-face. We don't do much on Zoom. And so now I'm going back to those folks and saying, hey, we got a process, we got a, for it, we got training for it now. And there's going to be more and more training coming forward. I think this Friday, they're having another producer do some training on how to do, over the phone or through Zoom sales. So definitely take full advantage of that, which now allows you, if you don't have, 1 second, Loanne, if you don't have, a ton of leads in your backyard, now you could buy the leads that are not in your backyard and you don't have to travel there. You can do it over Zoom. But watch the training because there's a lot of tips. It's a little bit different dynamic. Your no-show ratio is going to be a little bit more because it's easy for them not to click on the Zoom link. But when you show up to the door, even if they're inside, you could call them and say, hey, I hear your phone ringing. You're in there. Right, Chris? So that's that. There's some nuances. Your persistency might be a little bit different. So just kind of watch the training. They kind of go over all of that. Loanne, you had a question? All of our main carriers allow telesales: Americo, Aetna, AIG, Prosperity, Mutual of Omaha, John Hancock. Yeah, that's all you need. Exactly. So yes. So awesome. And then for anybody that needs contracting, Desiree is on here, our VP of operations, handling all of our contracting requests. So definitely go to the knowledge library, go to the contracting section. Her calendar link is there, so you can schedule a 15-minute contracting session with her. Whether you're licensed or unlicensed and you need onboarding help, you can book a time slot with her to get you through that, so you could get through that and get out in the field as quickly as possible. And then lastly, every Thursday, we have our new agent orientation. Now, if you're new within your first 60 to 90 days, I recommend getting on that call as much as possible. Every week, a different sales manager runs that call, and we kind of go through the knowledge library. We go through everything A to Z that you need to be successful. And you always learn something new, or you always have an opportunity to ask questions that will benefit you and benefit everybody else that's on the call. So definitely jump on that 8 p.m. Eastern every Thursday. And then we have our live dials as well, which we were on. So if you're new and you're wanting to hear somebody else get beat up on the phone before you go get punched in the face as well, then you could listen to me and Gio get punched in the face all morning. Yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah. So, but that happens. And we're going to talk a little bit about that with leads. So that's kind of what I want to jump into first. Oh, one other thing I forgot. FFL just pushed out a bunch of bonuses. Producer bonuses starting at $30,000 is $500. So every month you produce 30,000 in issue paid business, you'll get a $500 bonus from Family First Life. And then the bonus goes all the way up to what's the maximum bonus on there? I think it's like 6,000. So anywhere from $500 to $6,000 you can get in bonus money monthly for the business that you write on your own pen. And then as a manager, if you want to build an agency like myself and Gio, and you get to the vice president level, which is 150,000, so somewhere over between here. There is a minimum $2,500 bonus. So that's 2,500 times 12 is what, like 36,000. So you can make an extra $36,000 a year just in bonus. 30,000, 30 plus. Okay. 30 plus. There we go. 30 plus thousand a year in bonus money. Just by helping other agents, coaching other agents. So needless to say, there's a lot of money to be made here. It's just about how hard you're willing to work. And there's not too many industries like this. I mean, I'm in the gas stations all the time, and they're always, hiring for store manager, and it's like 30,000, 40,000 in Georgia, at least. I don't know, maybe down here it might be more, but 30, 40,000 a year is that income. And you can make that as a bonus on top of what you make monthly. So, not knocking anybody, but it's just a credit to the opportunity that we have here. So, all right, that's enough with the announcement. Let's get into the meat of this meeting. And so we want to talk about leads first. I want to touch on that. And then I also want to touch on Phonescript to call the leads, and then in-home presentation. We'll probably take about maybe 10 to 15 minutes each and get this knocked out. So let me just share my screen, which if you guys have any questions. Janice laughed at your Mr. Baby Daddy, Gio. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can share my screen. Start broadcast. Let's see if this works. All right. So we have a lead guide in the CRM. I'm sorry, in the knowledge library, but I did like an abridged version to the lead guide, just to kind of simplify it a little bit. Jackie, you keep an eye on the waiting room. Okay, thank you. So, one of the things that we've done, and then we want to make sure going forward, we're even more clear, right, when it comes to leads. Because, lead, I think there's an art to leads, if you will say. It's a strategy. It's a vital part of our business. I know I know Loanne, you were in real estate. Anybody else was in real estate before insurance? No? Okay. In the car business, I know you guys work with leads sometimes too. It's probably the person who bought the last car, you're calling them. But in real estate, I know especially, realtors use leads besides referrals. What, Loanne, for you, what did leads cost in the real estate industry? Like, what did you pay for leads typically? Mm-hmm. Oh, you thought for a lead? Yeah, $1,000 a month for leads. Okay, and they just kind of trickle in to you. And were they so individuals that would went to the company website? Let's say you're with Keller Williams. It's kind of who?
So this was with like Zillow.
Okay, Zillow. Got you. So it's an internet lead, basically. Okay, got you. So you were using internet leads with Zillow. So one of the things that and I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's really the first lead type that we recommend. But overall with leads, one of the things we try to do for new agents is when you're getting started in this business, most people, if you're like me, you didn't have a lot of money. I mean, I was Uber driving. I was just trying to make ends meet. My bills were about $5,000 a month. I was driving my tail off to make sure I could make that $5,000 a month. So I didn't have a lot. So when I got started 4 years ago, there were no internet leads per se. They were just starting to explore Facebook life insurance leads. But what they had a lot of was old leads, or second chance leads, as we affectionately call them. And so these second chance leads were 6 months to 12 months old. And that's what I started with. they were like $3, $4, money that you could put together and get a couple of them, a few of them, 50 to 100 of them, and still kind of, have some money left over if you're on a tight budget. And the reason why we started agents that way is because we didn't want agents to be, kind of bankrupt just getting started, right? We're trying to make sure that everybody can get, it's a level opportunity for everybody. So anybody could find $500. I mean, if you got to beg your grandmama, like I did, okay, you can get $500. Now you have more expensive leads that you can get that will reduce your workload a little bit, and those leads cost you more. So I've kind of broken it down, but just so you guys understand, we know the internet leads, they require a lot of work. They're internet leads. Anybody can go online, click on something they're interested. They might be kicking tires or whatever the case may be. And that's why, when you get internet leads, we encourage you to get a lot of them, because you got to go through the ones that are just kicking tires to find the ones that are ready for you to help them. But as quickly as you can, and when you start making money, the goal would be to get to a better quality lead that will cost you more per lead, but you will work less to be able to get the number of appointments you need. Does that make sense? And so, don't think that, our goal is for you to be dialing 12 hours a day, every dial day for the rest of your career. That's the internet lead right now. Honestly, that's where you should start. Maybe your first 30 days, your first 60 days as you're trying to get your budget together. But you also have to see that this is a business. So you're starting on a shoestring budget. And then as you start making money, don't go pay all your bills and then have no money to reinvest in your business and put you in a better position. Because ideally the goal is, and we'll talk about the different lead types, for you to start with the lowest cost leads that require the most work, time, and effort on the phones. And then as you start making money, wean yourself off of those and get a higher cost leads that will require less time and effort on the phones. So that way you can have a better work-life balance, and you'll be done, by the end of the training session, you can go home, and be able to enjoy the time with your family, but not have to be back on the phones dialing all evening. Does that make sense? Yeah. Anything you want to add there?
Well, as a matter of fact, even today, right, and we were talking about earlier, and it's really just, like I said, setting the correct expectation, but also understanding that it's going to take a lot of training, guys, especially if you guys come from an industry, unlike, you, Kenny, right? You've been doing this already with the phone and whatever, so you guys are used to the phones. For the most part, a lot of us don't do that, right? For the most part, it's new for us, right? I mean, Joe, right? So, I mean, coming back from retirement and all that stuff. So it's just one of those things where you have to understand, just so you don't necessarily build any type of frustration, right? And I tell you this because we see it day in and day out from agents that unfortunately, I don't know if they think that this is a get rich quick scheme. We used to talk about that a lot in the powder and pill days. But that's an
hey, clarify that, please. We're too close to Cuba to make those type of jokes, man.
So it's not, it's an actual business. And for a lot of us, it takes a long time to understand the things that we need to do, to run a proper business, right? Starting from the investment part and starting from the reinvesting part of things, right? So, in the training part, right? So you have to make sure that you get good at it. When Jermaine and I were talking about this last night, and so what I've been telling you agents is, hey, at the beginning, you have to understand that you're gonna suck, right? It's gonna be hard. I've had agents, and I know that it was me myself too. So like the first dial session, it was bad. It was nerve-wracking. Like, I mean, you just get stuck. I remember I used to get stuck, right? I didn't know what to say. And I think that Loan and Cheryl, you guys were laughing because it was just one of those things that today, regardless of whatever it was, I just was saying something. So it was also a training tip because we were down live and we have some new agents. So I wanted to make sure that they have to be ready to say something. Like there can't be any pauses, right? But that's developed. So it takes time to do that. So you have to understand that in the beginning, it's going to be hard and potentially even. And again, it's not the same thing for everyone, but it could be that first order of leads may not necessarily give you anything, but what it's giving you is practice. is helping you get better on the phone. The idea is to make sure that you're not stuck on that training process for a long time, right? And so training is really, really important. I mean, trainings like these, we were talking about YouTube videos and stuff like that, right? So, I mean, you'll be surprised at how many people, unfortunately, don't take advantage of that.
Taught this way, they're saying they're having a hard time.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Yeah.
So, there's so yeah, that's what it is. No, I'm just kidding. So, there's a lot of agents that don't necessarily take advantage of the YouTube videos and all the training that is online, right? So Facebook Lives and Zooms, and this is not the only training or agency that does this. So, I mean, you can pick any agency out there because you want to find someone that you can relate to. And so the other thing too is, for example, so that training and that being plugged in. No, I can't talk to you. There you go. Yeah. So the training and the coming to the office part, right, comes into play very strategically. And so if you think about it, so Cheryl, right, because Jermaine, you were saying you want to get to a point where you can dial and book your appointments for the next 2 days within the first part of the day, right? So Cheryl could have gone home, right, by the time that we started the training. And honestly, that's the goal. But it's gonna take some time until you get there. And you have to understand that you can come in thinking that this is, I mean, you're just gonna come in, dial 5 leads, book 6 appointments and sell 10. It just doesn't work that way, right? And so we wanna tell you that because this is no less than an actual, like owning a business, nothing less than that. It's gonna take effort. If for whatever reason, if we let you know that this is easier than a job, than owning your own business, opening up your own company and all that kind of stuff, we are setting the wrong expectations, guys, because we have not gotten to where we are, just by chance. It's been work, right? We've had to invest a lot. We've had to train a lot, and we've had to fight. We've had to fight our battles. And so you just have to be willing to do that. So that's as far as the leads and really just the mindset. I don't know if you want to get on that. Yeah.
No, I will. I'll touch on that here. Perfect. So, I mean, that being said, just understand that the.
Sorry, and yes, I still incorporate them, in what I do because I like having a better return on investment.
Yeah.
And I don't mind, taking a couple punches over the phone. And so what I want to talk to you about is kind of the lead options that exist. And again, the goal is for you to kind of migrate or graduate, however you want to call it, to a higher cost lead to kind of get your time back and cut down on the dial time. But you're going to have to invest the money. So when you get started, being that you're brand new, like all of us, you're going to suck at this, no matter if you've done sales before. It's just, if you've never done this before, you'll suck at it when you get started. So why not suck at a lower cost? And then as you get better, right? As you get better, then you can invest more. And then, you become more proficient. You could put in less effort to get the same result, if that makes sense. So we're going to post this in the lead section of the knowledge library. But just to kind of give you, I kind of broke down, there's other options as well, but I like to simplify things so that way it's not confusing and cluttered. So I've kind of broken it down into 3 categories. First category being our CRM leads, which you access through our CRM, and that's where everybody starts. Closing ratio on those leads, they're 10% closing ratio if they're brand new. So like the instant and the new internet life leads, 10% closing ratio. If you get 50 of those leads, you should be able to sell 5 policies. You're not going to sell 10 to 20. You might get lucky and you might sell 10. I mean, that's if you're door knocking all of them and leaving messages and text messages and smoke signals and pigeons and all that. But typically it's about 5. So the key is having the right expectation. That also means you're not going to get 10 and sell 5, so just know that. And so, sometimes agents come in and, we want to spend the least amount of money as possible and get the highest return possible. And unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. So 50 of those leads is going to cost you $550 at $11 each. You should be able to sell 5 policies And those 5 policies, you're going to land somewhere between $3,000 to $5,000, depending on the premium amount. Premiums sometimes range anywhere from $600 to $1,000 on average. So you still get a great return on your investment, but that does mean you're going to have to put in the work into those 50 leads to get the appointments you need to get those 5 sales. So it requires a lot more effort, a lot more dialing. These are people that are online shopping for life insurance, like Loanne was saying with Zillow. They were online looking at houses, just kind of picturing what would life be like if I had this house, and they just click the link. Yeah, let me get some more information. So they might not be ready to buy a house right then. They're just kind of exploring. And that's the same thing with these internet life leads, but you get them at $11 brand new. You could get them at $9 brand new, or you could get them at $3 and $4 at second chance. So it's a great way to make your budget work for you when you get started. Now, if they're second chance, the $3 and $4 ones, you want to get about 100 of those. So let's say it's $4 each. That's $400, 400 leads. And then you're going to have about a 5% closing ratio. So out of those 100 leads, you should be able to sell 5 policies, right? And so, yeah, that's, kind of drastically different from the 100 leads that you got. But again, those are second chance leads. They're a month old, 2 months old. If you get the ones that are $3, they're 3 to 6 months old. So you kind of expect that some of those folks will either already had gotten coverage in place, already had gotten about 25, 30 calls and don't want to talk to nobody else. God forbid, already have passed away, which has happened to me. So there's a lot of weeding out that happens with those leads, why that 100 leads turns into 5. But if you go in with the expectation that, man, I got 100 leads, I'm gonna make 50 sales, you're gonna be disappointed and you're gonna want to quit. But we're trying to set the right expectation. We're stressing this because we see too many people give up on themselves too early. Honestly, too many people give up on themselves too early before they give themselves a shot to win at this business. And so if where you're at is I got $400 to get started, that's where you got to start. You got to get those 100 leads, and you got to grind through those 100 leads to find the 3 to 5 sales that you're going to get. Now you have some money. You want to take it and you want to move to the next level of the lead strategy. And before I go there, within the first level of lead strategy, you have the second chance mailers. Like Elaine said, mailers are great for door knocking because it's something that they received the postcard and then they mailed it back to say, hey, I'm interested. So it's a higher intent lead, especially if it's brand new, which we'll talk about here in a second. But when it's second chance, same story. They could have already passed away because some of them are a year to 2 years old, like on the mortgage protection side. I've even seen some that are 5 years old. They might have already gotten the coverage in place. They might have won the lottery and think I don't need insurance anymore. I mean, whatever excuse, you could come up with one. We're people, we come up with whatever excuse we want to. So you know that you're going to work through more of those. But again, these leads are $1 to $8 each. And so you could get more of them for your budget. So if you're on a budget, you're brand new, you want to start with the second chance leads. Just know that you're going to put in some elbow grease, some sweat equity to get going. And then the game plan is to flip those leads into new money that you could take and invest into new leads. Any questions on that? Yes, Loanne.
When would you say you're done with the lead?
When they either tell me no to my face, or their no over the phone is sufficient where I don't even want to go see them in the face. Yeah, so depending on the level of the no, but typically it's no to my face is kind of my guideline. Or I make enough money where I could buy a new lead. I don't have to deal with them anymore. I'm just saying, but
in business, if it's for a new agent, sorry.
No worries.
I think that it depends on where you are, like in business, right? So like Jermaine said, if you're already making enough money where you can just buy more leads, and some of us are kind of like spoiled that way, right? I mean, you can just buy more leads and whatever. But if you're just getting started and you resolve that lead, I will 100% make sure that you get that no, and face to face.
Yeah, doing that, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's a good rule of thumb, especially when you're up and coming. I had so many leads, just being brand new. Like I told you, my first door knock. We're not going to recite that, but there's been plenty of leads that door knock, and it's like, man, we're so glad you stopped by. And some of them even told me, no, I already got to take care of over the phone. And they had like a graded policy or something like that. So just make it a habit. That's when I consider it's done. Or the other time is, if they say they have a policy with one of the companies we already work with, I don't always go out and invest my time. If they're like, yeah, I got America, I'm like, okay, you're in good shape. You know, congratulations, now moving on. So, all right, so that's level one. Again, that's not where you should stay for the rest of your career, because that requires a lot of effort, a lot of time on the phones. You guys have seen Gio and I on live dialing through those leads, and you know, you have to overcome more objections and you have to put a little bit more work. But what it does is it sharpens your axe, so that when you get to the next leads we're going to talk about, you go through those and it's smooth like butter, right? So, and that's how you'll see the top producers at FFL, they transition from these, you know, CRM leads. And if they do anything, they're probably just filling in their calendar with the CRM leads, but their main sources are leads 2 and 3, and mainly 3 as well. Okay, so on level 2, we have the social media leads. These are Facebook, these are YouTube, these are Google, all different categories. And the closing ratios on these, they're all brand new leads, and they're 10% closing ratio. Now, the difference with this 10% and the 10% on the CRM is, you know, CRM 10%, you need at least 50 CRM leads to be able to actually book some appointments. So just write that down, make a mental note. You're not going to get 10 CRM leads and really do anything. Because lucky to draw, you'll get the 10 with either wrong phone numbers or addresses. But when you get 50, you put yourself in position to get a good quantity with accurate information and people that are ready for your home. And then, where was I? Social media. So closing ratio with these leads, typically they have a minimum order of 20 or 30, or some companies 40. Those are good. I typically like to err on the side of probably 40 minimum when I'm ordering these leads. Now they are $25 each, right? So you pay more, but you get a higher quality lead. So 25 times 40, that's $1,000 right there. So that's what I mean. You want to start level 1, take that money and flip it into level 2. Now with these, you get 40 leads. You should be able to, with a 10% close ratio, make 4 sales, and in some cases more, because these are individuals that are on Facebook, on Google, or wherever, whatever social media platform, and they're seeing an ad from one of these vendors like Game Time, like Secure Agent Mentor, or Mob Media, Happy Agent, and a lot of times they're filling in their favorite color or hobby. So they, you know, they're really reading what they're doing, or they might even fill in their beneficiary. It's a higher intent lead, which is why it converts better. So realistically, I think with this, I put 10% closing ratio. I'm kind of being conservative there, but realistically, you'll probably have about 20% with these. I mean, if you get 20 leads with the social media leads, you should be able to make, I'd say on the low end, 2 to 3 sales. Whereas if you get 20 instant internet life leads, to be quite honest with you, you probably made 1 sale, you know, and that's if you work those really hard. So these have a higher conversion rate per lead, or per batch of lead, if you want to say it that way. But they cost you $25 each, opposed to $3 to $11 each. And so these are some of the vendors that we recommend. I've used all 3 of those myself. Actually, I'm sorry, I haven't used Mad Media, but Derek has and Prince has used Mad Media. They do their leads through Google and through YouTube videos. So they're pretty good. So, and this document, these are live links. So you can just click the links. We're going to post it in the Facebook group and on the Knowledge Library. So you could just click the links and it'll take you directly to their site, and then you can order the leads directly there. So any questions in the room or in the chat? I think is there a question? No, I don't see any. Okay, cool.
You say click the link from where?
This document, oh, hold
The
on.
document is gonna be posted on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
And also inside the Knowledge Library. So when you click on it, you click
You
on
see how it's highlighted in blue?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
those.
hyperlink.
Oh.
Yeah, those links right there for the vendors. Yeah, Kathleen.
So how do you know when you graduate from level 1 to level 2?
Once you have the money to graduate. Yep, absolutely. Once you have it soon. If I'm you, it's soon.
It's like, what if does that have to be a consistent thing? Like,
No, it doesn't have to be a
so
consistent
the
thing.
first
Yeah.
time I did that.
Yeah, it's completely up to you. It's at your discretion. And I think too, the other thing too that you guys want to take advantage of is the mentor calls, right? We do mentor calls and one-on-one, so we can help you assess your specific situation, because everybody's situation is different. You know, your time, you might have more time than somebody else, so you can keep going with the internet life leads, because you can put a little bit more time. You'll get a better ROI because it's $11 a lead versus $25 a lead. So it's not a cookie cutter situation. It's based on kind of where you're at. And so I want to encourage everybody that's on the call, the 29 people on Zoom and the probably 25 people that's in here, that, you know, schedule a mentor call with myself, Gio, your hiring manager, and, you know, book a time to go over your lead strategy. We'll take 10, 15 minutes and we'll help you get it together based on your specific situation. Everybody's budget is different. Everybody's background is different. Everybody's tolerance for a punch in the face is different. And so, you know, we'll kind of guide you on that. But, you know, in my opinion, as soon as you have the financial wherewithal to graduate, you want to graduate and at least incorporate some of the more expensive leads just to kind of give you a little bit of a break on the phone. Would you say so?
Yeah. And what I will add too, guys, is make sure that you guys are not discredited in any other type of lead, right? So the biggest success that you will have, that you will see, and across the board, you can ask anyone. And I mean, you can ask Max, Max, I'm sorry. Sorry, Max. You can ask Elaine, obviously Jermaine, myself. I mean, we all have a mix of leads. We work all the leads. And not just staying focused on one type of lead. It just helps you. Number one, when you have new agents coming in, you can actually talk to them about the different types of leads and all that kind of stuff. That's obviously if you want to build an agency. Mm-hmm. But aside from that, it just keeps you, you know, on your toes, really, right? So, and just like Jermaine was saying, so budget might be different for you than for another agent. So it also helps you strategize and make sure that your ROI is on point too. So
you can share your leads with your newcomers.
Right, exactly.
If you have too many that you know that you can work out yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can do that as well.
Yeah, and I'll do that in Atlanta. We've got a bunch of agents there, so I'll, you know, hand over some leads. Say, hey man, I can't get to these. And then if you're hiring too, you know, that's a great way to do it. But you know, one of the reasons, besides me loving a good ROI on my investment, I still run the internet life leads is because I want to be able to coach you guys, because I know that the newest agent getting started can't afford the $65 leads that I get in addition to my internet life leads out the gate. You know, you only be able to probably get like 4 of them.
Right.
But I want to be able to know that, hey, I've dialed these leads, I'm dialing these leads. I was dialing this morning on live. Somebody asked me, is it, I forgot what she said, but I went like an hour without booking an appointment. She's like, is it always this slow? Like, yep, sometimes it is. That's, and then they picked up after that. I booked 2 appointments. I was like, I think she's about to quit.
To, you know, the fact that you just have to work them, right? I mean, you get the no's, you get the it wasn't me, you get I don't even know how to use the internet. I mean, it's crazy responses that you get. But when you get the person that goes, yeah, that was me. Yep, me and my spouse. Yep, I'll be there. Yep, 5 o'clock is good. And you're like, everybody else that just say no, they were pretty much lying. Yeah. Right. And so don't let them sell you on that. But I mean, that's a different topic. But yeah, it's testimony to that.
Awesome.
I quickly want to ask before you move on. The game time, secure agent and stuff like that, is that like another login that you have to do? Or
yeah, those are separate lead vendors. So you create an account with them, you purchase
with each of them.
Yeah, exactly. Good question.
Yeah.
So those are all different vendors. You go direct outside of the FFL CRM. All right, and then the mailers is level 3. So you could graduate or start there if you've got money. I mean, sometimes you do have agents that they've just, you know, been like, I was looking for an opportunity like this. Now I didn't have money to get started, so that's why grandma helped me out. But sometimes you have individuals that might have a credit card. I didn't have a credit card when I got started. Well, I had one, but it had no balance on it. And so, but sometimes people get started in this business, they got a credit card with a balance, a positive balance, not a negative balance. And so you can start, you know, out the gate, you know, with a higher closing ratio lead and a higher conversion lead, like a mailer lead. So I should have brought a mailer up so I could show you guys. But anybody have a mailer?
Right there, please, thank you.
And so, you know, these are postcards that's mailed out to the client. Perfect. So, cool. So I'll hold it up in this room. You guys online probably won't be able to see it. Yeah, you definitely can't see it. But either way, so this is a mailer, it's a postcard, it could be final expense or mortgage protection. But it's mailed to the client by the marketing company. The client opens a mailbox, sees it, fills it out, puts it back in a posted prepaid envelope, and walks back to the mailbox and put it in the mailbox. So it's a lot of intent. You don't accidentally fill this out, okay? Because it's filled out with ink, right? And so, say again? Yeah, right, it's that's your signature, yeah, and they sign it too, so there's no confusion. So obviously, that's why it converts better, right? Than an internet life lead. So now these leads, closing ratio is 30% on these, so you have a higher closing ratio on these. And they're gonna cost you somewhere between 400 to 700 per week for about 10 leads. So about $40 to $70 a lead, okay? And I say per week because the most of these that are available, you'll have to do what's called a mail-in campaign, where the company mails out 1,000 postcards and the rate of return is 10%, or sorry, 1%. I wish it was 10%. That would be great. The rate of return is 1%, so you get 10 back. And so if you pay $400, you get 10 back. That's $40 a lead. That's the final expense leads. The mortgage protection leads get closer to the $700 range. I think the lowest one I've seen is like $586. So it's about $58 per lead per 1,000 pieces that are mailed out. So you're paying a higher cost. And then you also have to pay for 3 to 4 weeks until they start coming back in. So while you're waiting that 3 to 4 weeks, you're gonna need some less cost leads like the CRM leads. So you gotta work level 1 while you're working level 3, if you're following me, for those to come back in 2 to 3 weeks later. And you have to be in a place budget-wise where you could be paying that $400 to $700 priming the pump and also paying another $500, actively working the internet life leads. Does that make sense? I wanna make sure I'm not confusing anybody. So that's why you have to have more money to invest at that level. But once you get that pump primed, then you got leads flowing in. Now it's less effort because you get 10 of those, you call them, you're gonna book 6 to 8 appointments and you're gonna close 50% of them. And that's the 30% of the 10 will go in.
There's like $35 word protection leads in the CRM.
Yes, I did see those.
How are they different from the ones like quality wise?
They're internet, so not the same level of intent, but still good. When you look at mortgage protection, by the way, for those of you that are brand new or might be studying or recently studied, it's really just a term product to cover your mortgage. It's not a special type of insurance per se. It's just I guess an umbrella put over regular life insurance. Has some extra benefits like living benefits and cash back added on to it. But yeah, it has a higher intent because somebody's looking to protect their mortgage, tends to be a higher intent individual as far as purchasing insurance. And so they have some beta versions. Those are the ones that I've seen in the CRM that are brand new mortgage protection. I think those are either Facebook or Google generated. Yeah. Is that what you're Facebook? You're referring to the ones that says beta in the CRM?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're Facebook, they're kind of testing them now, and they're $35. So that's another way to get a higher intent lead at a lower cost, and that's through the CRM. I didn't include that on there, but you could definitely try those out. I have not tried them myself personally, but you could definitely try them out. But these mailers, you can do through ARM, and again, that's a hyperlink. And Mid-Atlantic, they do both of these. ARM and Mid-Atlantic do final expense and mortgage protection mailers. And those links will take you directly to their website, so you can order and see what their pricing and everything is like. But you're looking at that $400 to $700 per week. And the best strategy, just to kind of summarize all this, and then we can move on before we run out of time. The best strategy is a mixture. It's a mixture of everything. So you want to work yourself to the place where you're working level 1, 2, and 3 all in the same week. And that way, you're able to have a full calendar while maximizing the amount of time you're spending on the phones on your down days. So that way you can, create something that's sustainable where you're not on the phone 10 hours a day, for your entire career. Not that working 10 hours a day is bad, because my mom is a respiratory therapist right here in, COVID Central. South Florida, as the news would want you to believe. I have my own opinion, but I'm not going to on that. But either way, she's at Memorial West Hospital. She works 5 days a week, 12-hour shifts, because the demand demand is so high right now. She's a respiratory therapist. So even if I was working, and then that's her career, like she'll be doing that until she retires. She'll scale back after the busy season, if you will, to 3 days a week. But normally she's doing 3 days a week, 12-hour shifts, and sometimes it's back to back. And you know, we complain, well, I complain sometimes about having to be on the phone 8 hours on the down day, sitting in AC, just picking up the phone and talking to somebody, grabbing a Chick-fil-A sandwich, chatting to Gio, and I'm complaining like, oh, this is tough, this is hard. You know, when my mom is on her feet, 2 floors, 40 patients each floors, doing trigs, putting people on ventilators, oxygen, you know, all type of stuff, life support machines. I mean, people dying in front of her, she can't save them. And we have the audacity to complain, bro. Yeah, it's amazing. But you know, it just gives you perspective. You know, it's like, you know, I complained about my shoes until I met the guy that had no feet. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just, you got to take things into perspective. We're not out in the hot sun digging ditches. We're in the AC making a phone call. You know, so either way. But you know, you still want to be able to work yourself where you have some balance, because this game is mental. This business is mental, and you got to put yourself in a good mental state. So these are our lead options. And then finally, you have buy per lead. Buy per lead, I don't recommend until, and the corporate won't approve these until you've been here for a couple months and you've had a track record of issue paying business. These buy per lead is where you could just buy those mailers individually at $40 each or $65 each. And you just tell them a county that's open, if there's a county open. And then all the leads that come in that county come to you. So you have to have a credit card with a balance on file, because they just drop the leads in as they come in and they charge your card. I mean, I'm on that program. Some nights it's like $300, and that could be 4 or 5 days a week. So you want to make sure, you know, you're at the level where you can handle that. They won't approve that for you until you've been here and they should see that you're a issue paying business. So that's kind of the last level within that level 3. So. Hopefully that's helpful. Joe, you said I could use your card, is that what you said?
I said his wife won't approve that.
Hey, yeah.
You said C and D, those are companies that we can order those?
Correct, yeah, the mailers from, yeah, and this is a hyperlink, so it'll take you directly to their website. We're gonna post this to the Facebook page in our knowledge library. So you just click the link, it goes right to their website, you can fill out an order form. Somebody will get on the phone with you and walk you through it. Yeah. So, and that's the thing with this being a business, guys. You have to take your lead strategy into your hands, right? It's not an employee. Now, we're here, and like I said, we earn an override by coaching and mentoring you. So, you know, if you say to me, Ruth, you say, hey, Jermaine, I need some help with my lead strategy. Here's my budget. You know, I'd like, you know, to be able to get as many leads as I can. Here's my budget right now. Then you and I can kind of game plan, okay, where are you located? What are we looking at? And we'll kind of take 15 minutes, go over it. But then it's like, you got to execute. You got to go ahead and order the leads, and then you'll start getting on the phone and calling them. And then you got to look into the other options too, and kind of strategize based on our conversation. And that's for anybody in the room. Okay. So that's leads. Anything else you want to add, Gio?
Yeah.
Okay. So the last 2 things, and that way we can finish in time. We might run over a little bit, but Phonescript is the next thing I want to talk about. And right here at the top is the internet Phonescript. This one's posted in the Facebook group and also the knowledge library. Lost my train of thought. There was something I was going to say, but this is for the internet life leads. And the reason I did this one, because it's the most commonly used for new agents, right? Our goal here is to always make this the best opportunity for the newest agent possible. Because once you get in and you kind of get your feet under you, and as new agents, I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and I can't remember who it is, but you want to look at this thing like you're going for a college degree. Nobody goes to college to get a bachelor's degree and think they're going to be done in a year, right? So when you come into this business, you got to look at this and say, okay, this is a 1-year deal. I'm going to give it all I got for 1 year, because it's a trial and error, right? It's business, right? It's not a guarantee. I wish it was a guarantee, guys. This room would be filled, and I'd probably fill the Miami Sun Life Stadium, or whatever they call the stadium down there right now. But it's not, and it takes work, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes a lot of failure. It takes a lot of failure for you to try, fail, and adjust. But if you do, you're going to learn along the way. You're going to make money along the way, and you can position yourself to make a really good income. and change your family's financial future. So needless to say, when you approach this business, don't look at this and say, hey man, I'm gonna tip my toes in for a month and see if it works. It won't work. Let me save you some time. Go do something else. Just be honest with you. Look at this and say, hey, I'm gonna commit a year to this, like I would commit 2 years to get my associate's degree or 4 years to get my bachelor's degree. I'm gonna commit a year to this. I'm gonna be as coachable as possible. I'm gonna follow the tips. I'm gonna go to the trainings. I'm gonna listen to the calls, and I'm gonna take massive amount of action, and I'm gonna fail my way to being successful. And if you have that mindset, you have that goal, and you set that as kind of your standard, your parameter, whatever you want to call it, you're going to be successful in this business. And it's just, hey, full transparency with you. And if you don't have that, you're not going to win. So just be honest with yourself, because we want you to make money with us or without us. We want you to make money. Your family deserves it, right? But you have to have the right approach and the right mentality. So needless to say, take this as a year. And then with this phone script, you literally use this phone script for any lead that you call. All you simply do is you change the lead type. So in my introduction right here, Bob, this is Jermaine, or well, hi Bob. Bob answers, I say, Bob, this is Jermaine Clifford. I'm a local field underwriter here in Henry County. I always use the county because I like to sound local. And I live an hour and 15 minutes away from Henry County, so I'm local. I'm giving you a quick call back. I like saying call back because it's like, okay, he's calling me back. Did I call him? So they're starting to think, right? To introduce myself, I like that because it drops the barrier. I'm not calling to sell you something. I'm calling to introduce myself because I received the form you filled out online to get some help with your insurance. Because I received the form you filled out on Facebook to get some help with your insurance. Because I received the form you mailed back to me, back to my office to get some help with your mortgage protection insurance. Fill in whatever type of lead you have right there. This phone script works for any lead type you have. And I'm just calling you to schedule a quick appointment. I want to tell them up front why I'm calling. I'm just calling to schedule a quick appointment. I don't want to be on the phone with you all day. You don't want me on the phone with you all day either, because you're probably at work or you're probably doing something, watching your soaps, whatever the case may be. So I'm just giving you a quick call to schedule a quick appointment with you tomorrow. I'm setting the urgency. I want to do this tomorrow. To see what I can do to help you. I'm trying to help you. I'm not trying to sell you anything. You fill this out, you mailed it back, you fill it out on Facebook, you fill it out online. I'm just calling to schedule an appointment to see what I can do to help you. This request has your name as Bob Smith and your date of birth is 10/4/56. Is that correct? I want to get him saying yes right away before anything else. So I say all of that in one breath. And then I pause with a question. You always want to pause with a question. And Bob says, yes, that's one yes checked off my list. And then I'm going right into the rest of the script. And you could kind of get the analogy. I'm not going to just read through the whole thing. But this script you can use for any lead type that you have. We have some rebuttals that we're going to add to this, to some of the most common objections that you might get. But the key with the script is if you structure it in this way, and you can customize this. This is kind of like a skeleton. You can add on to it what you will. But if you kind of use this as your foundation and the basics, the structure of your phone script, you could customize it however, as long as you kind of touch on these points in the appointment. And it's just being very intentional. And it's the same thing with the Inhome. So Gio, anything you want to add to that?
As far as the script is concerned, guys, you want to make sure that you use that as a guide only, just to piggyback on what Jermaine was saying. And really the way that I like to put it is that you can sound like myself. You can sound like Jermaine or any of the top producers. And even when you come here, I was talking to someone, I think it was you, Tosca, maybe Lily. I was telling you guys that you can't sound like Elaine, right? Because she's totally different. So you have to develop your own. Like I was hearing Max making some phone calls as well, and it's the same thing, right? You want to make sure that you use that and make it your own, because just as much as you don't want to sound as if you're trying to sell them something on the phone, you want to make sure that you sound like yourself. You know what I mean? Like you're not trying to get anything from anybody. In fact, Dominic Rogers talks about. And I highly recommend that you guys listen to his videos, please. I mean, he is the best on the phones. And Dominic Rogers. And we have one of his videos inside of the Knowledge Library. Some of you guys might ask, where's the knowledge library? That is in FFLimpactagency.com. Okay, make sure that you go through all that, and there you go. Under the lead station, one of his best videos, it's inside there. So it's really just a mindset on the phone. You want to make sure that you are very direct to the point. You want to sound, you want to have a one level. You want to sound kind of boring even, but still being yourself. Okay, so that's really the only thing that I will add to the phone script. And then don't make it too long. Get straight to the point. And then as Jermaine was telling you guys, the different types of leads that you can use with that same phone script, it is the same exact way that you should say and speak out the phone script. So, and again, that comes with practice, right? The more that you dial, the better that you get at it. So it's even like me taking a few days, off from work or whatever. As soon as I grab the phone, it's just second nature. Like I knew exactly what to say, right? And then also with the rebuttals, right? So make sure that you guys practice. And so, and again, goes back to that first order of leads, that it may just be one of those things that you're just grabbing those, 100 leads or whatever, but just to get good at it, right? And it's okay if you don't necessarily have a lot of success at the beginning, right? As long as you don't give up. Because remember, guys, so athletes, doctors and stuff like that, and Jermaine alluded to this as well, it's gonna take some time until they're able. So a doctor, they just don't go into school for a year and then go cut somebody up, right? Like they're not gonna allow them to do that, right? So it takes practice, and even as funny as it sounds, right? I mean, they might just kill someone even in the tries of doing the surgery, right? But right, that's what they have the malpractice insurance, right? So we have errors and omissions for that as well, but. You might screw up, one of your first appointments. You may not sell your first appointment, but that's okay. You may not book that first person that you call. It's okay, guys. It's part of the process. Just don't give up, right? Just like Jermaine was saying before too. So just don't give up. And we can ask all of us. Anybody that has written over $10,000, you can ask. I remember the first time that Luann came. Right, so it's like I remember that, and it's okay, right? And she was a little nervous, and I'm sorry, for saying this, because we all were. I was freaking out. I was sweating, right? So it's true, right? So the more that you practice, the better that you get at it. That's really what it is, But remember, you have to make sure that you want to get better. You can't really just get stuck on your own ways.
Yeah.
Okay. So
rapid fire objections for you. I had asked everybody to kind of throw some objections under my post in the Facebook group. So I'm gonna throw a couple of these at you, and you just kind of say what your response will be. So Gio, we already have that covered.
Oh, perfect. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make a little note in here. So my job is gonna be a lot easier. I just have to verify what you currently have. Make sure that they give you the correct information, that you're not paying anything more than what you should. And I'll be able to close this out pretty quickly. At the end of the day, I still have to make sure that you're not hospitalized or bedridden. And they just want me to give this information to you in your hands. So I'm gonna be in your area tomorrow. What time do you all typically get up from work?
Perfect. And you got to be able to say that all in that one breath like that. So that way you're controlling the conversation. And we're gonna write these in on the phone script, by the way. So don't worry. Well, Gio, we already have someone else coming later this week.
Okay, perfect. So what you do is just go ahead and get as much information as you can. I'm still going to be dispatched to that area tomorrow. And even actually after you see that one person, so you just have enough information to compare. We represent about 15 different companies. I'm not the sales guy. I just have to make sure that I can show you what you could potentially qualify for after I verify that you're not on an oxygen tank or like a hospital bed ready to die.
Okay, perfect. Let's see here. I'm not interested anymore.
Great, I'm not interested either. I'm just trying to make sure that I can close this out properly. I still have to make sure that you're not hospitalized or bedridden. So they have me out in your area tomorrow. I just have to make sure that I can drop this information off.
So you guys can kind of get the idea by now. You acknowledge, and then you deflect, and you go back to why you were calling. my job is just blah, 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 blah. Because initially, with most people, that first excuse is just that. It's just an excuse.
It's just an excuse.
Yeah, it's just an
Yeah.
excuse.
I got an objection for Gio.
Okay, go ahead, throw it at him. Take one for the audience.
All right, call me Gio. Ring, ring. Hello?
Chris?
Click.
That's a good one.
So say that it's not Chris, right? So I go, Chris.
No, this is not Chris.
Hey, Chris, this is Gio. I'm just getting back to you from the benefit center here in Broward. Just wanted to make sure. And then they start responding to you, right? They're like,
Yeah.
That's
People just don't want to be
Yeah.
sold, right?
It's
People-
crazy.
And it's just like in the mall, right? You ever, like back in the day when more people used to go to the mall, you got the guys in the kiosk trying, like, come here, come get this cream, come get this lotion, you know, come try this back massage or whatever the case may be. And it's like, nah, man, I already got it. I can keep walking. I've never had it. I might be interested. That's actually a pretty cool phone case, but no, I don't want you to sell me that. So it's the same thing as over the phone. So the key with objections, which, you know, I will put these all here so you know what to say, but it's the same concept. You acknowledge it so they don't think like you're blowing them off. Yeah, can you? Yep, absolutely. That's perfect. That's exactly why I'm calling. So my job is, and you just go right into what your purpose is, and it's just staying focused.
Yeah, for
So,
real, man. And Elaine overcame a great objection this morning. Like this lady was on the phone, right? Remember when she was like, no, I don't know who filled it out. Probably somebody had my information or something. Elaine was like, oh, really? Okay, here what? 12 o'clock tomorrow, I'm coming out. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. Yeah, that was cool. Yo.
Yeah, you gonna make, I want.
Thank you.
It's so true, man. It's so true. And you know what I know that I've really done my job when somebody, Dennis is laughing. When somebody says, you know, thanks for being so persistent. I'm like, all right, you know, that's good. That's like the attaboy. Because sometimes you could get frustrated with your persistence, but thankfully God gave me an innate gift of being persistent.
You know, and that's also a really good testimony of, you know, being in an office, right? So as we get beat up, as we get punched in the face and all that kind of stuff, believe me, it feels a lot better when you have your peers around you. Right. And then, you know, just like Chris just learned that from Elaine this morning, I've learned a lot from you guys. And I mean, you know, a lot of you guys can just come in and ask questions, if anything. And as leaders, right, we're going to say, hey, you know, Tosca, I wouldn't say that, you know, the next time try this, right? And then you're going to get better at it. So it's a good thing, you know, just being around the office too. So
perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So, and guys on, I keep saying YouTube. I feel like an old man, like on the Facebook thingy, but everybody on MySpace. Everybody on MySpace, put your questions in the chat. Oh man. But so Inhome, real quick, we'll knock this out in 10 minutes. I know we're running over. We appreciate y'all's patience. Hopefully you're getting something out of this, and then drop your questions in the chat. I see the chat lit up here. Let's see if this is a question or a comment. You are not the host.
I have a comment.
Okay, go ahead, real quick, and then we can jump to the, you know.
So, just by experience and everything, this insurance is needs-based, and it's about the people's family. So the people that are filling these things out accidentally, or if somebody else filled that out for them, it's probably their kid.
Yeah.
They all have somebody to take care of, and they're going to do it. If they don't have enough money in the bank to be able to take care of their final expenses, or for their kids, other parents to be able to raise the kids or anything, they need this coverage. So they're either gonna get it from you or from them.
Yeah, that's so true.
And when you assume that it's going to be you, you're much better.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you do much better.
Yeah.
Because they believe you, that you're the one you're the professional that's gonna help them. And then, you know, when you're getting these no's, it does get a little tough, but you can't, I mean, it's really tough to sell with that kind of mentality when you're feeling low and feeling like all these no's, you don't want to do it anymore. But I use positive affirmation cards, which are very helpful. Like, say if I'm feeling like real negative, oh, I don't want to do this, I don't want to hear another no, or nobody wants anything, those are lies. Because a lot of people, and especially the people that just lied to you and told you no, they needed it too. So when you have those positive affirmations, and one of the ones that I like to use is, I only have positive thoughts and feelings during income production. I only have positive thoughts and feelings that lead me to income production. When you say that out loud, look at yourself and say that over and over again. You have that positive feeling, you release a positive energy, and people want to buy from you. You're able to help people and help yourself at the same time. So
Yeah.
I hope that helps you.
Oh, 100%. That's good.
Yeah, that's
I love to
true.
give it up for that.
That's true.
It is a mental game, and self-belief is so huge in this business, you know, and just like, I like to, you know, I played football in high school, and that's as far as it went, because that's how talented I was. Gio says me too. You played football. Hold on a second, somebody dropped so, but you have to have that belief. Somebody says that was great advice, Kenny. It's a good job. Thanks for
Yeah,
sharing.
that's true.
But you have to have that belief in yourself, and if you don't have that belief, just like if you were deficient in a certain nutrient, you got to supplement, right? That's why you have all these supplement stores, your vitamins and everything. So you supplement by getting some affirmations together. You supplement by listening to E.T., Eric Thomas, or Miles Monroe. Thank you. I was gonna say Miles Davis, but that's but yeah. Or you supplement through these FFL training videos on our YouTube page or the corporate YouTube page.
And
So
it's not a game, Jermaine. I mean, the money's great and everything, and you know, but this is not a game, folks, honestly, because these people, eventually one day, they're gonna die.
yeah.
And what if it's your last day? You know, you are the person that's responsible, you know, to make sure their family is okay. We gotta, even when they don't want to fight for their families, we have to fight for their families even more than them. And until we do everything we can, then amen, so then let it be, you pack your bag and you go.
Yeah.
But fight for their families even more than how they fight for their family, because I strongly believe in life insurance. Like, Mary, if you can't afford it, how are you gonna afford it when you die? Like, help me understand.
So why are you gonna put that on Stacy, your daughter?
Exactly, you know, like, you gotta challenge people. Like, listen, if you have a cat, and cat food costs $40 per month, you need to sell that damn cat. That's how it works. If you have a cat and the cat food is $40 per month, you need to get rid of that cat and get some insurance.
Yeah. I mean, that's real talk. Mary might kick you out the house. But it's worth it. Hey, you gotta lay it all on the field for Mary because she's fighting for it. So real quick.
Policy for a lady for her cats, for when she dies,
So she,
whoever.
Yeah.
can take care of her
people
cats.
do that. And if you ever come across that lady, give her my name.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, right. All right, guys, let's wrap this up real quick. We have too much fun. And so Inhome, real quick, the main thing with Inhome, I want to kind of just go over structure. And it's the same thing as if you would do it on Zoom as you would do it, you know, in front of the client. In front of the client, it's just a lot easier to build trust just by your presence, right? You're able to build trust a lot easier than you do over the phone. Now, with the PowerPoint presentation you have now, you still are able to trust because a part of that PowerPoint presentation. You have your state ID, your driver's license picture, so you're trying to establish the same level of trust. It's the same thing I do with the client in person. It's just that my state ID is hanging around my neck, my driver's license hanging around my neck, and I'm always showing pictures of my family, especially now with the baby. I bring that up in the first 5 minutes of my appointment. And my wife is like, "You better show them that, baby." And so, but it's creating that connection because it's an emotional sale, and they're buying the insurance, but they're also buying you, right? They're buying that Jackie is my agent, and she's the one that's going to make sure my family gets this money. I trust her, and sometimes, you know, it's like when they're asking me, when am I going to, that's the insurance company, but you know, you've done such a good job where they're willing to hand money over to you, right? And trust you with their family's financial future. So the key to the appointment is, you know, you're not there to make a friend initially. I make friends either once we've made a sale or as we're completing the application. The first initial is, hey, I'm letting you know what I'm here to do, and I'm creating a structure of how this appointment is gonna go. And I'll kind of let Gio talk through how he does it. But for me, when I get in the house, just like a quick, maybe 1 minute, 2 minute, kind of warm talk. Oh, beautiful home, and then I'm the business. Where's the table? And then I go into, hey, here's why we're here today. You know, you filled out this form. So like this client right here that you guys were door knocking. This is actually one of my clients, Internet Life Leads, 32-year-old guy, sold a $200,000 John Hancock policy because of his health. We had to go with John Hancock, which is a great carrier anyway. But you know, when I get into the house, it's like, all right, David, you know, most of the times when one of my clients fill out these forms, it's either you have some life insurance and you need more, or you have none at all. And for him, it was he has none at all. And he had his daughter there with him. She was 2. And so I'm like, okay, so you've got none at all. What's going on? He's like, well, you know, work, they give me a little bit, but I know I need more. And so I said, okay, perfect. So I'm going to be able to help you today. The good thing is I'm licensed with about 15 different life insurance companies. So anything that you need or could have access to, I can get that for you. My job is very simple. I'm going to run through a quick questionnaire, which is my client worksheet. These are the 2 pieces of paper I have in every house, and my laptop, my tablet right here. I'm going to run through some quick questions, ask you some financial questions. I'm going to ask you some health questions. That way I can be able to know which company can get you the best rate, the most affordable rate, based on your health and based on what you've got in your budget. And then once I ask you some questions, I'm going to show you 3 different plans. We're going to pick the plan that's the best for you and your budget. And the most we can do today is we can apply for the coverage to see if the insurance company will approve you. As much as you might like the plan, they've got to like you to give you the plan as well. And some of them will give us an instant decision. Some of them might take 2 to 3 days to let us know if they'll approve you for the coverage. But the good thing is, once it's approved, it's effective immediately. They're going to mail you a policy, and they're going to send a request to your bank for the first month's premium. So you'll need a checking or savings account. You have one of those, right? Shaking my head, and he might say no. He's got to work really hard to say no, and I'm shaking my head saying yes. So, but he might say no, and I'll go into that Direct Express or whatever the case may be. But that's kind of my setup, and I'm setting it up that, hey, this is what we're going to do today. Here's the process. And then when I get to the end, I said, does that all make sense? Do you have any questions? And if he has questions, I answer them. If it makes sense, I know I pretty much have a sale in the back because I've stated exactly what we're going to do. And then all I do is I do exactly what I said I was going to do. And we go through the process just like that. So the setup is the most important part of the appointment. However you do it, there's a lot of training videos on it. But once you establish that structure, it's just like kids. They need to know what they need to do, or they're going to run all over your house and tear up your furniture. So you got to create that structure in the home. So what do you want to say?
It's pretty much the same thing. I mean, you want to make sure that you get to the point as soon as you get there. Similar situation with Jermaine. I just, as soon as you walk in, like if you start asking too many questions, it just gets weird. It gets super awkward because I mean, you don't know them. There's nobody, you know, how are your kids doing?
Hey, nice kitchen covers.
It's not important, right? So you want to make sure that you direct them to a table. Always a table. People are gonna try to be nice and have you sit on their couch and all that kind of stuff, right? Always go to the table, right? People make decisions when they're uncomfortable, and most of the business is done at the kitchen table, right? So just go to a kitchen table. As soon as I sit down, same thing with Jermaine, my question goes, like if it's an Internet Life Lead, I go, so you guys are looking for life insurance, huh? And then they go, yeah, we definitely are. And then I ask, hey, did somebody recently die, a family member, someone close to you guys? And so they tell you, they're gonna start asking, they're gonna start giving you information that you're gonna need and use as you go through the process, right? So those answers to me are very important, because when they come and tell me that they were just looking, that they don't need it, that they're gonna wait, right? Those reasonings are gonna come up when you know, if they go, well, I just wanna make sure that my wife, you know, is not left with anything, you know, if I die. And if he goes, no, you know what, I think I'm just gonna continue shopping or whatever it is that they say, right? So then I go, well, remember, I mean, I don't want to leave here and your wife be left out without any type of life insurance. Like you die tomorrow, you get hit by a car, you know, your wife is pretty much done, right? And then you want to get really good, if I can just add this, really good at using the word dying, right?
Yeah.
You want to be really upfront. You wanna make it real.
Yeah.
Because it is, guys, and you're gonna find when you're talking to couples specifically, usually when this happens, is so you start asking, right? And I go, hey, Bob, I'm gonna put you in the spot real quick. I go, Mary, Bob didn't wake up this morning. He died. What financial position are you in, right? And then Mary starts laughing. And then I go, Mary, I know you're laughing now, but this is a serious issue. What if he doesn't wake up today and he died? What financial position are you in? And it sounds awkward and weird, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna come
It's
up to a point
uncomfortable.
where they're like very uncomfortable, right? So she's gonna tell you, I don't know. We really haven't thought about this. And you go, got it, no problem. Hey, listen, we're gonna take care of this today. Mary, the same thing. Bob, Mary didn't wake up this morning. She died. What financial position are you in? And it just gets real, and they're gonna tell you.
It's quiet, just like I was quiet
Yeah,
now.
just like this. Yeah, it's very quiet. It's very quiet. So really, that allows you to continue and move on and accomplish the goal that you went in, looking to accomplish. And so, aside from that, same thing. I tell them, hey guys, let's take a step back. These are my license. This is my license. This is who I am. I represent about 15 different companies. I don't make the decision. I don't give you the approval. My job is really just to ask enough questions to make sure that we can find the best company that is gonna be a good fit for you. Okay. At the end of the day, we have to make sure that you get approved. So what we're gonna do today, and I put my 2 fingers on the table, what we're gonna do today is we're gonna submit an application. In that application, Bob, Mary, they're gonna ask you the same thing that everybody asks, which is name, social security number, and bank and routing information from where they're gonna get the premiums from on a monthly basis, if you are approved, okay? Can I ask the questions, guys? Shake it. Yeah. Then I go, hey, Colin. So, and then I start filling out the client worksheet. And then most importantly, guys, the client worksheet, right? The client worksheet is what you guys are gonna use to make a determination. And also, as you guys are getting started, this is the tool that you're gonna use when you call the helpline. Okay, one of the managers is gonna pick up, and then you have to go through the entire client worksheet to make sure that your client is put in a good spot. So, anything else?
No, man, that's it. I mean, at the end of it, you make some really good friends, and
Yes,
now
at
I
the
know.
end.
Yeah, at the end, while I'm doing the application, we're having conversations, and with this same client, Mr. David, now I have somebody I can call when the boys start coming to my house to see my daughters, because he had a couple of these in his house. So I told him, hey man, when the boys start come knocking, I'm gonna need to give you a call. He's like, call me anytime, man. So, but that's when we make friends, and you can have some lifelong friends. I actually had one of my clients I went golfing with one time, and to my daughters, which they hated it.
You'd be surprised if people
but
you meet.
Yeah, and the thing to know too, some of these folks, just for those that are new, I mean, you gotta understand, life insurance is one of the most selfless things you do, because you're not gonna be here to enjoy the money. You're trying to make sure somebody's better long-term financially or short-term for their burial if you're no longer here. So there's some of the kindest, sweetest, most loving people that you'll ever meet in society, I mean, because they're thinking about somebody else's situation being better off when they're not there. So just a phenomenal business, phenomenal career. But like I said, make sure, everything we covered today, you take to heart. And if we can help in any way with helping you get up and running or keep going while you're up and running, just reach out, and we're here for you. So hopefully that was beneficial. Does anybody have any questions? We'll kind of take 5 minutes to answer any questions, either in the chat or here live. Kathleen.
Yes, I've been watching a couple of videos of this. I'm wondering if you've seen it with the protection and this equity.
Yeah.
It's 3 types. 3 types of plans. There's an equity plan, there's covering the whole.
Yeah, it's partial. Hold on, guys, please. Yeah. Yeah, so mortgage protection, you can do the equity close or the full mortgage protection or mortgage protection close. I kind of break it down to 2. I just try to simplify it a little bit here. You can add on to us, but either based on the client's needs and their budget, we're going to cover the full mortgage or a part of it, like 75% or 50% with the term policy, like Americold CBO or Americold Term 125. Or based on their age and their health, we're gonna cover, the equity, which means we're gonna give them enough insurance to cover a couple of years of the mortgage payment. So if they pay $20,000 annually for their monthly mortgage, we're putting a $20,000 Eagle Premier whole life policy because their health will only allow them to qualify for that. So that will pay in lump sum to the beneficiary to know that the mortgage is paid for a year, so they can have enough time to pay the mortgage and get the house sold. There's a couple different videos on that on YouTube. You could type in, and then if you have one-on-one questions, Gio and I are here to help you with that. So, but those are different ways you can do it. So that agent, Mark in Orlando, was brand new. He's a realtor. So all he did, and all his clients are older. So all he did was he went back to his book of business houses he sold over the last year. Hey, I'm a newly licensed life insurance agent, and sold them mortgage protection policies. A lot of them were whole life to cover because the houses up there are a little bit more expensive than the area that he works in, the market he sells in. And he just covers a couple of years of mortgage payments and $14,000 later in commission, which he probably made more in insurance than he did in real estate this month, 3 weeks in. So 3 weeks in. So there you go, Lauren. There's an idea. Get all your colleagues book of business and say, hey guys. Yeah. So any other questions? Anybody
Yeah,
else?
when we dial that the 800 number we're looking at, what are we saying to you in order to be quick on the phone?
Awesome, great question. Yes. So yeah, because we're most likely in an appointment or on a hiring call or about to head into an appointment or head on the hiring call. Yes, be as quick as possible. So make sure you've done, actually, I'll let Gio answer that one. I need some more.
So if I call the helpline and Jermaine answers, I go, hey Jermaine, I'm sorry, do you have a quick minute? Then Jermaine tells me, right? And then I go, hey, real quick, I'm here with Bob and Mary. Bob is 67, Mary is 65. We're looking to protect the mortgage. Based on what we're looking at, we're probably just looking to protect some equity. So I'm just gonna run through some information real quick. They're making this much money together as a couple. They're spending this much. They have a quick, a small savings account. They are non-smokers. Bob is on amlodipine, which is for this, gabapentin, which is for neuropathy. He's a diabetic, was diagnosed at age 55. He's in no insulin. And he's got, simvastatin, for cholesterol. Mary is a non-smoker. She's a diabetic also. No insulin, was diagnosed, with diabetes at age 50. And she's on amlodipine for high blood pressure. Okay. The mortgage is this much. This is how much they're paying per month. There is this much equity, which again, Jermaine, is the one thing that we're trying to protect here. And then they do have a small, Lincoln Heritage policy each for $10,000, and they're paying this much per month. They don't have a 401k. There's an IRA, and they have about $120,000 on that IRA. So Jermaine, I was thinking, Eagle Premier to protect that equity. What do you recommend? So it's like it's everything. I told you everything, right?
I'm pretty much going on a financial.
Yeah, you do a summary of the financial worksheet.
The only thing that you're saying.
Yeah.
And I mean, in some cases, there's some videos that say, hey, you wanna reinstate, the reasoning why they want the insurance, what you're looking to do, and all that kind of stuff. But it has to be quick. Like on that call, I have to say, hey, Jermaine, Bob is trying to protect the equity for Mary because if he dies, she doesn't have any money. That's all.
Right.
I'm not saying anything else than that, it's gotta be quick.
Right. And then as far as both of them, we're already writing 2 separate policies for each one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's individual policies is what it is. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I would recommend that for every carrier you're contracted with, that you go in and make sure that you got your password, your numbers, that you can go in and do the work with that carrier should you have to.
Yeah.
Because if AmeriCorps doesn't work, and you need to go to AIG, you don't want to be sitting there in front of the client trying to figure out what's my.
Yeah, exactly.
How do I get in here? Because some of these sites, like AIG one, is kind of fun.
It is.
They'll get you in and regenerate you over here, and they want the password. So go through all your carriers, make sure that you can log in, and if they have a practice key application to write it,
Yeah.
But at least know where to find the application on the website.
Right.
Because you don't want to be sitting in front of your client with the money in.
Mhm.
So
Hey,
it'll take 20 minutes, you
by the
3 hours
way,
later.
You will have that multiple times when you get started, but as soon as you get out of
I've been there. I've been there sweating. I'll be like, yeah, so the company has technical difficulties. What does this mean?
All right, so we could shut out the Zoom. Thanks, guys, for joining us on Zoom. Appreciate you guys. And you know, if you need anything, let us know. And let's run up the score. I think we have 5 weeks this month, so let's make it count. All right.